everybody. Hi. How's everybody doing today? Well, welcome to today's Feature Spotlight. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Abby, in case we haven't met yet. So, really excited to have you here today. Today's Feature Spotlight, we're going to talk about how you can streamline your check in process with Mangomint using some of our check in features as well as our virtual waiting room. So, really excited to go over this with you all today. These will just be some quick tips for you, really useful hints to get you going. It'll be a bit of a quicker webinar today, but I think everybody will leave with some really great information. And so you can get started with our check-in and waiting room feature. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. I'm going to be demoing a couple features for you all and kind of walk you through how to use our check-in and waiting room features. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay, and just let me know if anybody cannot see that okay. I am now sharing my Mangomint app with you all. Okay, so first of all, what can our check-in and waiting room features do for you? So these are going to really help you streamline the check-in process. And as part of today's, webinar, I'm going to show you a couple different flows. I'm going to show you how to use these features for when a client checks in and arrives for their appointment. And then I'm also going to show you some ideas for what you can do when a client arrives, for example, and let's say that the provider is not quite ready for them yet. So right now, we're in the Mangomint app here, and we are taking a look at our calendar view here. This is kind of, whenever you log in, you'll see the calendar first. And so, as you can see here, I have all of my appointments set up for today. I've got a pretty full, book of appointments here today for all of my staff members. And so we can look at a couple different appointments that I've scheduled previously to kind of show you how this works. So I do actually have an appointment that I set up here previously. And so when this appointment actually, as it was getting close to this appointment starting, 15 minutes prior to the appointment, I did actually have a automated text message that does go out to the client, letting them know that their appointment will be starting in 15 minutes and that they can go ahead and check in. So that is the feature that I have turned on already. It's a little bit hard to show you my phone screen here, but I was kind of set up here as this client, Sarah Smith, who's getting a Swedish massage. And so I did just receive a text message on my phone that said, your appointment starts soon. When you arrive, please check in here. And then there's also some additional instructions that I left as well. It says take the elevator to floor 5. So this is really nice if you want to include instructions for your clients about what to do when they arrive. And I love this because the client, it's so easy for them to just go on their phone, click this link right here that they got in their text message, and then they can go ahead and just check in that way. So that's kind of how that works from the client's perspective. Now, I also want to show you guys what it looks like if I'm booking another appointment and what you'll kind of see as the staff member. So let's go ahead and just set up a new appointment here. We'll just put an upcoming appointment. And then I'm just going to search for a new client here. All right, so Kara Thompson is going to come in for an appointment. Let's say that she wants to book a massage with us. So we'll go ahead and just book that just so I can show you guys what this looks like. Oh, I do need to add my treatment areas. So let me go ahead and do that now. This is using our service customizations feature. So let's say she wants to focus on her back and her arms. So we'll just go ahead and add that, and then we're going to book the appointment. Okay, so now let's say that Kara Thompson has arrived. So what we can do here is, as the staff member in my calendar view, I can go ahead and just click check-in. So now what we're going to do here, you'll see there's a couple options here on the upper right side. We see waiting room or in service. So if you're ready just to go ahead and have this client go ahead and start their appointment, you could click in service, but we do instead want to use the waiting room feature. So what I'm going to do is actually just click here where it says waiting room. So I'm going to click that. And what you guys just noticed here is on the calendar, if you look over here, you'll notice that this appointment has now turned purple. So anytime you see that purple, that means that it's in that waiting status. And then you can also see up here, there's some indicators right here where it says waiting. And then also, in addition, what you guys will also see here is that right down here, there's an additional indication. So you can see there's a little one icon. And then there's also a little notification here just to let you know that somebody's in the waiting room. So if I go ahead and click here, now you can see waiting clients, and we can see Kara Thompson is here. And so I'll just go ahead and add another appointment, for example, just so you all can see what that looks like. Let's say that David Wilson is also coming in. We'll check him in. And then I'm just going to click waiting room as well. And then now you can see here that we have a couple waiting clients in the virtual waiting room. So we've got Kara Thompson and David Wilson. And then if I wanted to, next what I could go ahead and do is take this and then just go ahead and I could either click in service or I could click notify as well. For this one, I'll just go ahead and click in service so you can see what that looks like. That is now going to turn pink. And that means that Kara Thompson is now in service at her Swedish massage. So let's talk about a scenario that might come up sometimes. Let's say, for example, that the client, they have come in, they've arrived on time, but let's say, for example, the staff member isn't ready yet to assist them. You know, maybe the staff member is running a little bit late with wrapping up another appointment that was right before the client's appointment. And so the staff member might need a few extra minutes. So in this case, what you could do is, you know, if you wanted, you could let the client run, grab a quick coffee while they wait, something like that. So what you would do here is, let's say, for example, David Wilson, you know, he's still waiting to start his appointment. As you can see, he's still waiting. We can go ahead and have David, you know, run and grab a coffee, something like that for a few minutes. He's in that waiting queue as you saw. And then what you can actually do is when you're ready, when the service provider is ready to take David for his bang trim, we can just go ahead and click this notify button right here. And then that way David was now notified that you're ready for him to go ahead and come in. So he can go ahead and come back, you know, finish up his coffee run and get back in so he can start his appointment. And then, of course, once the client comes back in, all you would need to do is just hit the in-service button, and then you can just go ahead and proceed with the appointment. So we'll go ahead and just click in service. Now you'll notice that that turned pink as well. Okay, and then of course you would just continue to check out like normal, for example. I can just show you what that looks like. We'll leave a tip and then pay with a credit card and close that one out. So that's kind of an example of how the virtual waiting room works in terms of the calendar and how you can kind of see everybody who's in your virtual waiting room. This is also really nice if, for example, you don't have a traditional front desk or something like that. You can use our virtual waiting room feature to help with that. So now we've kind of covered, you know, what this looks like on the calendar and, you know, what the clients will experience. But I want to show you guys a few more details about how you can actually set this up and customize everything using Mangomint's automated messages feature. So what we're going to do, let's say, for example, you're an owner or a manager and you're kind of managing all of your Mangomint settings. So typically what you would do, you would be somebody who would be managing your automated messages settings. And so what you would do is just go ahead and go to settings. And then from there, we're going to click on automated messages, which is right here. So we'll go ahead and click that. And as you can see here, we have a lot of different automated messages to choose from. I won't go through all of these in today's webinar, but definitely check these out. And we do actually have an in-depth webinar specifically on automated messages. I would encourage you to check that out as well if you're not as familiar with them yet. But what we want to focus on right now is the check-in process. So if we go here to the check-in process tab, this is where you can kind of configure and customize all of these different messages that are sent for this check-in process we've been talking about. So what we can do now is kind of just look at some different ones here. The first one is sent, again, that's the one I told you about at the beginning of the webinar. This is sent 15 minutes prior to the appointment time. So we have a couple different options for how to customize these and what we want to send. If we wanted to, we could only send, for example, an email or a text message. I like the idea of doing both, especially a text message. I think that's really helpful. When a client is running to their appointment, if it's only 15 minutes until it starts, maybe they're running late or something like that, they might not be checking their email as readily as they're checking their text messages. So I definitely love the idea of keeping that text message in here. And then if you just click on this little gear icon, you'll see that we can customize some information here as well. So this is for the email to client to check in as waiting. And then I love this too, because it shows you a nice preview of what the email will look like. This is using our 7 Lake Salon and Spa, our logo that we've set up and our color and everything like that. So it's nice and branded for this demo account, the 7 Lake Salon and Spa. You can even send a test. So I love doing that as well. So you could send an example email if you wanted to. And that's really great too, just to see what that looks like in your email client. And then also you'll see here, let's check out this text message to client to check in as waiting. So if we go ahead and click on this, again, I love this. You get a nice preview. Right now, I mentioned before that it says take the elevator to floor 5. Let's say, for example, we want to change that. So we could say something like, let's say we changed where we're located and now we're going to floor 12, for example. Or you could put all types of other, instructions here about where they should go. This is really nice if maybe you have the check-in process is maybe not so straightforward, or like getting into your salon or spa is a little bit confusing for people. Maybe some people want to provide parking instructions or other directions about how to get in. Maybe you work in a high rise and you're in a certain suite number, things like that. So you can put all of that information in here, which is really nice. And something that you guys will notice too is we have this toggle here where it says, ask clients to wait outside. And so this is actually really nice. This is kind of, I would say it's a bit of a relic from the COVID era. That's kind of when it started, when, everybody wanted, as they started, offering services again here and there, they wanted the clients to wait outside first. And there's a lot of different protocols around that. But I'll say, even though, that's kind of how it started, and you may be wondering like, how relevant is that still? But I will say that a lot of our customers still use this option even today. And I'll just go ahead and enable that so you can ask clients to wait outside. But yeah, a lot of our customers are actually using this option. This is really nice, regardless of like COVID protocols or things like that. It's really nice for other situations. So, maybe your salon or spa doesn't have a front desk person that's staffed all the time, things like that. Let's say, for example, you work for a really small waxing studio and you just have a couple people working there at any given time. And so it might be easier to have clients wait outside and then you can come greet them, things like that. So there's a lot of different reasons why you might want to use that. So I'll just go ahead and close out of here as well, but you can just continue to customize it and then save it. And then we'll move on. There's a couple other items I want to go through on this screen as well. So then you have this next option. So when client checks themselves in as waiting. And so this one is going to be sent directly to the service provider. And you can see here, it says text message to service provider or text message to specific numbers. So we'll just open that up. This is really nice. I will say this one cannot be customized, but it has all the information you need. So it says, your whatever the time the appointment is at is waiting, and then has the client name too. So the staff members can reference that. And you can also send a test as well if you wanted to put in a phone number there and get a test and see what that would look like. So this one's really helpful. Also, you can, if you wanted to, you can also set up a text message that will go out to specific phone numbers. So maybe, for example, you have a couple different people you want to be notified. If you click edit here, you can actually go in here and add multiple phone numbers if you wanted to. So I'll just go ahead and X that out. So that's really nice if you want to notify specific people. And then we also have this option here for when a staff member presses the notify button. So again, that's what I showed you before when we were looking at the calendar view in that situation when, maybe the client ran out to grab a coffee or something while they're waiting. So this one, again, does go to the client. And so you can see here, of course, you have the option to send an email. So you can see that as well, and you can send the text. And of course, if you want to customize it, you just click here, add the additional text you want. I'll just say park in the blue parking lot. Just, some type of instruction like that. Park in the blue parking lot, something like that. Super easy to go back in, edit that as you need to, remove that, and then you've removed your custom message. So you can go in there at any time and update that. And then, of course, you have the text message to client option as well. We try to make Mangomint super flexible for your needs. So you can also set up a text message to a client if you wanted to. And then last, we have this option here. So when the client is checked in for service, and again, this one is sent to the provider. So we'll go ahead and click on this, and you can see a preview of what that looks like. So you can see here that, again, this message cannot be customized, but it'll say your 417 appointment is here, and then I'll have the client name as well for their information. Okay, let me double check and just see if any questions have come in here. Okay, let's see. So somebody has asked, can the clients respond to automated messages that they're receiving? So yes, that is a great question. The client can definitely respond to the automated message. And if you actually go in here, I'm just going to show you where to find all of your messages. That will be right here in the messages tab. Because this is my demo account, you can see there's no open conversations right now. But if I was to go here, for example, I'll just go to this Sarah Smith. One moment, and I can actually go and send a message. So I just send a message back as the client, and you can see here. Now, in this case, I do have set up an automated text message that goes out if they try to reply, but you can turn that off if you want to. But yes, any of these automated messages, the client will be able to go and just text back. So it's super easy for them to do that. So that is a really good question. Something else to point out as well is that if you don't want to use, if you go back here, automated messages, we were kind of looking at this whole check-in process. If you, and, of course, thinking back to the calendar when we had that virtual waiting room, if you don't want to use all of that, you can turn this off if you want to. So what you would do to do that, in case this isn't right for your business, you could just go to settings, and then you'll just click on calendar and appointments. And then you'll see here that we do have a waiting room setting. So if you click this, that's where you can see where it says enable a waiting status. So again, this is just enabling that waiting status we talked about to track your clients who have arrived and they're waiting for their appointment in that virtual waiting room. But if you don't, this might not be right for your particular business workflow, you could easily just disable that if you want to. So you can do that. And this relates. So I just saw that another question came in as well. And somebody was asking about, what if I want to only use this feature on certain days, for example? So it sounds like maybe you might have different staffing, or maybe like certain days you have somebody who's working at your front desk, maybe other ones, they're not there, things like that. So you kind of want to have a different check-in process based on different days of the week. So super easy to handle that. And you can actually use this setting here to easily turn this feature on and off whenever you need to. So I keep harping on this, but we do try to make Mangomint really flexible for you. So you can kind of find the workflow that fits your needs and really fits your salon or spa based on how you guys want to use the software. So you can definitely choose to only use that when you actually need it. Okay, well, I'll just go back to the calendar here, and I just checked, and I think we've gone through all of our questions. So I think that'll wrap it up. Like I said, this is a quicker webinar today, just giving you some quick hitters on our check-in and virtual waiting room feature. But as you guys actually get into the software and you start using this, if you have any questions that come up, definitely start a chat right inside the product with our support team. There's a little chat button right inside of Mangomint, and you can chat directly with our team. They're really fast to respond. They typically respond in minutes. And then we also have a ton of really good resources all about our check-in and waiting room features in our learning center. So definitely check those out. A lot of great articles. And if you're not actually using Mangomint yet and you want to take a deeper dive with a product expert and ask, really specific questions about your business, you can definitely book a live demo on mangomint.com. We'll be happy to show you all of this in a lot more detail and really give you a demo that is tailored to your specific business. Okay, well, I just want to thank everybody so much for joining today's webinar. Really enjoyed our feature spotlight with you all today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks again. Bye, everybody.